Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. I am Katrina. This is Sow and Tare, a live chat. We do this every Monday, 6 p.m. Pacific time, except for the first Monday of the month, which we do on Thursday. So, welcome, welcome. And I'm just setting up my light. There we go. Got to plug some things in so that I can stay on. All right. So I hope everybody's doing well. I got up to 96 today. If I was thinking about it, I would have thought out another rabbit and done rabbit in the car. If you haven't checked out that playlist, Dashboard Cooking is a playlist on my channel, and it is a solar oven. So a free / very expensive solar oven cooking in your car. So I need to plug in my laptop and my phone. So give me a minute. All right. So I hope everybody's doing well. I know there's some weather that has been going on. So hopefully people are out of storms and also not in much heat. Maybe the heat is subsiding, hopefully. There we go. All right, I'm all plugged in now. So that is there's some weather stuff going on, and I know that. And just a minute. Sorry, I forgot my juice over there. Drink of the night is orange juice. Here we go. All right, let's see who's here. Welcome, welcome, everyone. We have Verna, who is Faye's Place in Blue Willow Wrench. She's moderator, and she also has a live chat on Saturday mornings. Welcome, Verna. Oh, sorry, I had to scroll up. Steve was here first. Steve will be tardy. Have to run to town real quick. All right, you get credit. You're here first. Welcome, Steve. He is also moderator. He'll be back. All right. PJ's here. Welcome, PJ. PJ says, hey, friends. Welcome, welcome. She's a member of the channel, as is Verna. And we will be making pear butter ricotta raviolis in a garlic cream sauce for the membership get together on you and your kitchen, me and mine, on, I believe it's the 20th. Next month. We have time. If you'd like to join us, join the channel. It's fun. All right, Verna says our heat will be picking up again later this week. I think today was our hot day, and then it's supposed to go down. I think it's supposed to go down after today. So let's see. 92 right now is what this says. It was 96 not that long ago here for the real temperature. All right. 89 tomorrow, 85, 81, 80, 75, 82. Yeah. So next week is supposed to be mostly 70s. So I'm hoping we're going to have some tomatoes ripen. That would be nice. Yeah. And PJ says, it's cold. LOL. Oh my goodness. Is it actually? Is it though? Oh my gosh. And PJ says, heading down tomorrow after work to get warm. Did your paperwork go through, or was it 27th? Why is the 27th in my head? Yeah, give us an update. Good luck if you haven't done the paperwork yet. Good luck for her new location. Serena's here. Welcome, Serena. She says, hi, cousins. Hello. Thanks for the link, Verna. 27th. Why was that in my head? I remembered it. What? Nice. Yeah, so everybody cross your fingers for PJ that she has everything goes smoothly for her paperwork for her new property. It's a big moving year for people. Verna moved, PJ's moving. Who else is moving? I don't know. It's a big time. Serena says, I had 4 monarch caterpillars on my milkweed night before last, and the leaves were half gone. Last night, they were completely gone. I wonder if the 4 caterpillars had enough leaves. Maybe. They might be looking for new plants now, huh? Yeah. Yep. Verna says it will go smoothly. I believe it to be so. I agree. I think it's a perfect property and it's going to go really smoothly. Yepers. Oh, you had to get a new camper. Oh, yours has water damage. Was it like sitting and you didn't know that it had damage and then it had damage? Because I've heard of that happening. And I forgot I have a prop I was going to use, so I'm going to be right back. Talk amongst yourselves, right? Okay, in a little bit I'll talk about what I just brought over. Yeah. So it was a surprise. That's not that yeah, that sucks when you have a surprise like that. That's not the kind of surprise we want. We want chocolate as a surprise, right? There you go. My goodness. Um okay, so PJ says going to close on property and sign for new camper, new to me camper. That's good. So you're getting it down there. That makes sense. Same day. That makes sense to get it down there instead of moving it down there. Um, then you have one picked out already. That's good. Awesome. So those that don't know, PJ is buying a property that does not have a house on it yet, and so she has fencing to do and then lots of building to do, which is good. I mean, building for different things and animals. So good, good. Well, all the luck to you. And yeah, handyman special 2023. Hey, that works. As long as it doesn't leak and the electric is okay, you're good. Yeah. So I guess I didn't video any of this, but I finally freeze dried cheese and I did shredded cheese. And thank you, Verna, for the heads up about the paper towel. Putting when you do cheese to put down a paper towel on the freeze dryer tray. I put the silicone down and then I put the paper towel. It soaked up a lot of fat. So yeah, that definitely was a good thing to do. The app that Harvest Right has doesn't say anything about doing that. So I think it was probably a really good tip. So thank you for that, Verna. Yeah. Serena says, I have a butterfly bush, but no other milkweed. I have seeds, but they will take a while to germinate and get big enough for caterpillars. Serena, what kind of milkweed do you have? I don't remember exactly where you are. The milkweed that's local to where I used to live, it didn't seed well. It seeds well. It didn't germinate well. And for that, root divisions worked really well. So I don't know about all the different kinds, but you might want to look it up and see if root divisions is a better or more sure way of doing that. Yeah, just a thought. PJ says they are verifying it to make sure everything works before I sign. Exactly, and take it through the ringer. Turn on everything at once. I would say don't trust the inspector. You do it yourself. Inspector here did not inspect everything he said he inspected. Also, don't trust an inspector with a huge belly that doesn't fit into the crawl space. Hate to be that person, but if he doesn't fit, he's not going to see things. That was the case here. Yeah, thank you, Verna. So true. It's at my old place there was a when I had the electric redone at my old place. I had a bunch of people out to do bids and stuff, and there's one electrician that he literally would not fit in the crawl space. Like he was a very large man. And it's one of these things that a lot of contractors, that's all they do is they're the contractor, they have the licensing, they have the bonding, all that, and then they have people under them that work. So I knew I wasn't going to pay for him to do anything. His crew was going to do it, you know? And I wanted I wanted to pay someone who was actually going to be doing the work. And it was a factor in my decision. And, you know, like I said, I hate to be that person, but there's some truths there. And it does affect what you get in return. Like with this, he said there was copper plumbing. Nope, just copper the bathroom. Because guess what? He just looked right there where the crawl space is and saw copper. He also said there was a crawl space. There wasn't. In the front of the house, there was no crawl space. So, yeah. Getting an inspector, if you're going to have an inspector, especially a house, but even with something like that, if you're getting a new property and an inspector is going there, go there with him. Go through it with them and ask questions because it's your house or potentially going to be your house. Yeah, it's worth it. And yeah, go underneath the house, go in the attic, all that. So these are good things. Good things. PJ says, I've had milkweed right behind the house for many years. Nice. Do you know what kind it is there? Because it's not the kind that's on the western side. And then follow-up question, does it die back during part of the year all the way, or is it year round, like perennially alive above ground? Okay, so I'm going to share with you guys some things that I got. And PJ says my son has to go over in the morning and clean around the electric pole to get power hooked up. Meaning it's weedy. That'll be good though. That'll be good. Yeah, so I've been talking about making rabbit sausage, and I have freeze-dried cubed apples, and I freeze-dried cheese, but I actually think that cheese is going to be for something else. It's so funny. You guys remember how Kraft macaroni and cheese, the cheese powder used to actually taste good? It doesn't anymore, newsflash. That's what it tastes like to me, like the good cheese powder. And I haven't powdered this cheese. It is just shredded cheese. But I think for the sausage, because I wanted to do apple and either apple cheddar or apple Gouda or something like that, sausages. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it through the square thing again on the food processor. Not again. Use that again for cheese. And when you do that, what you do is you basically almost freeze it. So that does that. So yeah. Anyway, so that's something I was going to go through. Let's see. Vine so high, electrician can't see the box. Misty's here. Awesome. And Misty, I think you missed our Hungarian goulash, but you are able to access it after. And I did send you an invite to the friends of the Katrina's Kits Sow and Tare Facebook group. So you can go in there, and that's where we post some things. But our next one, I better make sure it's correct. The next Cook With Me Live is, I was right, September 20th, and that's a Sunday. And we are making pear butter and ricotta raviolis with roasted garlic cream sauce. And it's really good. We made it before, and it's really good. PJ says my leftover Hungarian goulash is in the freeze dryer now. Nice. I ate mine. Nice. Only skinny inspectors. You know what, Misty? So the back half of my house was added on in the 50s when the owner, she was having, like, before she had her third kid, is the story that I have. And underneath here, like, the whole house was not insulated underneath. And I hired someone who was very skinny because I wasn't going to fit. to go under there and put in insulation. And he said, he had the respirator on, and he said when he was laying down, once the insulation was in, he was that far from the bottom of the insulation. So yeah, and then the front, before they dug it out to raise it because it had fallen, the beams were on the ground. So yeah, it does make a difference. All right. Steve says, hey, you had your warning. Howdy, y'all. Sorry, howdy, all ya. Yeah, and you were the first one here, so hey, you get the points. Steve's back. Hopefully you did something good in town. Missy says, I love you, but I hate to cook. You can just watch if you want, or we make it really easy because we're doing it all together. And that's exactly what I made this for, is for people that want to cook or want to learn to cook or just hang out, because we have people with different experiences there. I mean, I've been cooking for a long time. PJ is a chef, so she knows like real stuff. Verna's been cooking tons, and she knows a lot of herb stuff. And there's other people in there that have other specialties and stuff like that, that sometimes come. So yeah, it's good. The way it's built is we give you the ingredients and the tools that you need, and then from there we just make it together. And if there's questions, then we have question answers. So it's pretty cool. Okay. Anyone starting a fall garden? Serena asked. I'm gonna go over that after I go over what I brought. And great conversation, because that is the second topic. All right. PJ said electric scheduled to be turned on Thursday. Awesome. Yeah. Okay. So happy birthday to Verna's daughter. Absolutely. I didn't get a notification that when the last time I went to one of your lives, I didn't get the notification, and I like, oh, isn't Verna on? And so for some reason, I'm not getting all of your notifications, and it's weird because that's happening with several channels, and I don't know why. Yeah. Yeah, you can just socialize with the different cookers. Exactly. And Verna says, you go always hang out with us, Misty. You don't have to cook. Sometimes there are people who we have not had on camera as well that just snoop, and every once in a while type something. So that's fine too. They may need a supervisor. We always need a supervisor. What you can be in charge of, PJ usually does this, is reminding me where I put down something. All right. So let's move on to what I brought. And then we can go on to fall gardening stuff. Yeah, you didn't get the reason why, Steve, you didn't get my notification is because I didn't put it out until later, because I was doing other things, and then I had a long work day. I was training someone and it went super late, but it's fine. I'd rather train someone than have to retrain someone. So anyway, okay. So you guys have heard me. I've been prepping to make rabbit sausage, and I ordered 4 books. 2 of them came, and then 2 of them came today. So I literally just got them out of the box. I haven't had time to look at them yet. But the first one, which pretty much everybody recommends, is this one. And I think it's overall a good book. It doesn't have many recipes as far as like how to do stuff. I kind of expected it to have a breakfast sausage recipe and stuff like that. I'm getting there. And like the only sausage recipes it has is, I guess, sausage is what it calls it for. And then it has some other kind of sauce. Like, they don't have names. And then they do say to make sausage to be smoked. It has instructions for that. They have a hot Italian sausage, a sweet Italian, and a kielbasa. And those are the recipes that they have in here. but they do have good instructions, and I need to go through this more in depth for the smoking part. I think I'm not going to start with smoking ones. I'll start with the ones that you just freeze. I want to start with breakfast sausage. So this is a good one. It does take you through how to do the butchering. Now there's rabbits I would do differently than what they have on here. I do not use a club. And it does show cuts of meat. It does show how to do stuff. They're drawings. I'm just not showing you because some people might not like that. Like this has like picture drawing of intestine stuff, but it does have like stuff like this where it has different cuts of meat and stuff like that. So has deer. It has, I think this one had a raccoon in it too. I'm not planning on eating a raccoon. Please, nobody eat a raccoon unless you have to. They are one of the most disease potential critters out there. Okay, the other book I got, which I actually do not recommend. So again, I do not recommend this one. I got it because it's over 100 easy, simple, and delicious homemade sausage recipes, from brats to chorizo to cotticino. I don't know what that one is. I thought that they were actual recipes for sausages. So this is the one I do not recommend. It has a very short intro. It has page numbers that don't reference the actual thing. It has page numbers in the index that exceeds the number of pages in the book. And one of the recipes calls for breakfast sausage, but they do not have a recipe for breakfast sausage in this. So poorly written. I'm not going to rely on this. I wish I could get my money back, but I don't think I'm going to make that effort. I don't know. Not recommended. Okay. These are two that I have not looked into yet. Homemade cured meats, complete guide to home charcuterie. So I think that'll be pretty cool. It looks, I don't even flip through it. Let's see what's in there. Okay, they have a lot of techniques, a lot of equipment. What is that? What is that? Oh, traditional Italian recipes. That's why I don't recognize the words. Okay, so they have all sorts of stuff in here. They have all sorts of stuff. Truffle salami. Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff. Actual recipes by weight, which is nice. Yeah, this will probably be a pretty good book. This is my first time seeing it, but this actually has real measurements and is probably more of a technical book than what other people say. Return to sender, exactly. It's from Abe Books, and I've never tried to return anything from Abe Books. If you're not familiar with Abe Books, it's a really good source, and they have reasonable prices. I've known about them for a long time. That's usually where I go if I know a title of something that I'm looking for, and then they have like related things. So like the only one that I knew the title of was the first one, which is pretty popular. But I think this is going to be something that I like. I've been YouTubing a lot about different things. In fact, I did not go to bed last night until very, very late because I was YouTubing different sausage stuff. So without like a good amount of recipes to pull from, I pulled some recipes off of YouTube for several different channels. That 1870s homestead channel, he did a pretty thorough look at breakfast sausage. So I'm gonna do some of the stuff that he did in that, and I think that'll be like maybe the first one I try. And then there were some other methods, and then there was some or other recipes, and then there was some other methods that like when you knead it all together, it's supposed to be of the consistency that if you put the patty on your hand, it should stay there. I didn't know that. And then, yeah, anyway. And then the other one that the other one that I bought was this, because you guys remember at the beginning of the year, I have not been very, very gung-ho about this, but the beginning of the year, I said I want to be able to do more sauces. And then, of course, the garden never started. But this is, so like, starts at 107. I don't know why. Barbecue sauce, rub, and marinade recipes, plus a great jerky recipe. So let's see. Yeah, this just looks like it has good recipes, or recipes at least, that look like they are pretty easy. This one, the ingredient, it has the ingredients, and then it just says heat ingredients in saucepan. That's something easy. Anyway, so that's something that I saw since I was doing stuff with meat, that maybe I should have a sauce book as well. So that is what I am doing. I might try and return that one. Return to sender. Yeah. So the recipes are, that's a good point, Verna. That's a very good point. It has a name. So that's a very good point. Verna is suggesting that maybe it was AI written. 2022. Yeah, I'm not supposed to read anything out of it, otherwise you can get in trouble. Legal notice, disclaimer notice. I can't even read you that, right? It doesn't outright say that it's AI, but like it has an index in the front, or a whatever is in the front, and then like it has a conclusion. You don't have a conclusion section to a recipe book. The index in the back doesn't match any pages, but it does have a table of contents in the front, and those pages match. But like there's something on it, it's 144 pages long, and there's stuff like 151 is something that's supposed to be on page 151. I think I saw something for 160 something too. And it's like that's not even that many pages in that book. So yeah, I might try and return it. Anyway, I'm gonna scroll up. Serena has a cold, never got a fever, but I had almost every symptom besides that one. Using all the Vicks sinus inhaler and Nevagay. I don't know. And I can't say that thing because YouTube will block it. And both to treat my nose. Apparently not allergies. Okay. Well, I hope it is something that goes away. Here's a thought. Maybe I'll do it as a video. That's a great thought, right? Do our members, I don't exactly need it, but I could make a small batch. Do our members want to make fire cider at the same time while we make our raviolis next time? Does anybody need that? I don't exactly need it, but I feel like this is, if any year to do it, I should probably do a video about it. So let me know if you guys want to do fire cider as a group. And Misty, this is not cooking. This is chopping up and putting in things. Like it's just as long as you can use a knife safely, then you're good. Yeah, let me know if you guys want to do that. Otherwise, I'll probably do a video of it, do like a small amount, and do a video, so people can know that. But fire cider is a good immune booster. Guess someone stole the pages. Yeah, someone stole the pages after. Yeah. Verta says this has been a strange gardening year. Absolutely, it's been a strange gardening year. Yep, PJ sang it too. Return to sender. Address unknown. All right. I just make up the recipe for myself. The thing is, the thing on page 151 that it's referencing, if you look at the table of contents, it's on a different page, and that page it actually is on. But the fact that it's a sausage making cookbook for beginners, and it boasts that it has 100 homemade sausage recipes. I read that as homemade sausage recipes. just that fact, if you have an ingredient called breakfast sausage, you should have told us how to make it. My opinion, if it's a sausage making book. It's not like it's just a book of using sausage. It has some recipes, but they're very repetitive, and like a full page for each thing, and it's like this much on a page. It's very, I don't know, self-published looking. I think it's probably more likely to be self-published than AI. Anyway, okay. Verna says, I did it last year. Don't think it was worth it. The fire cider? I definitely think it was worth it, and I'll tell you why. When 2020 happened and everybody had COVID, I didn't get it until Manuel got it, and I was very upset because he was doing things that he wasn't supposed to be doing as far as masking and going places, and I got it from him. He got it bad. He didn't have to go to the hospital or anything. And I had chills and aches, body aches and chills for 2 hours, and that's it. Through the whole time, I had been taking a little bit in the morning, a little bit in the evening. And what I found, I need to start doing it again. What I found is my body would crave it. If I didn't have it by my regular time, my body would crave it. And for those that don't already know, all fire cider is apple cider vinegar that has been infused with a whole bunch of random good stuff. Well, good for you stuff. So onion, garlic, and the recipe varies. So onion, garlic, turmeric, black pepper. People put elderberries in it sometimes. Cayenne pepper, jalapenos. You want to get that pepper stuff in there. Lemons, oranges, like anything that has goodness, marjoram and oregano and thyme and all those things. It all goes in there in a jar with apple cider vinegar that has the mother. I can't think of the brand now. That is like the well-known brand that has that. But anyway, it's apple cider vinegar that has the mother, and it will basically leach out all the good, powerful stuff from the herbs and the fruits and the this and the that, and you stir it once or twice a day for 6 weeks, and then at the end of 6 weeks you sieve it out or strain it out, and so you have the liquid in a container, and the rest of the stuff you can do whatever you want with, and then you keep it in the refrigerator. And I don't think it goes bad. It's vinegar at that point. I don't know if it goes bad. I've had some for a long time that hasn't gone bad yet. Vinegar in itself doesn't go bad. But yeah, so you have to keep it submerged, make sure it doesn't go bad and all that. So anyway, and just a little tiny bit, because you don't want to over acidify your stomach, but little, like, a tablespoon or something, once or twice a day. If you're sick, maybe you do it 3, but you don't guzzle it. And it is an immune booster. And I believe that it works because I do have a strong immune system anyway, but because of 2 things. One, my body was craving it when I didn't have it on time. And then 2, I had 2 hours of effect from COVID, which again, I have a strong immune system anyway, but I was also doing this regularly throughout that time period. So anyway, there you go. Oh, people add pineapple too. Some people. I think you did that, right, Verna? Okay, PJ says, you can. I will not, though. I'll have to come up with something else. um, okay, so Misty's a nurse. Or nurse. I don't know what kind of nurse you are. Misty's a medical professional. She says, for this current version of a cold, I've found this is hot water with lemon and honey worked really well for me, but it takes about 3.5 weeks. A cold lasting 3.5 weeks? My goodness. Someone didn't know how to use Canva. Is that what people are making into books now? I don't know. Misty has some cookbooks at the store. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, raw pineapple for pain. And what is oh, horseradish, right? Brags. Thank you, Berna and PJ. Brags. That's the one that I'm thinking of. What is it's an enzyme, right? For the pineapple for pain? Is it an enzyme? I think it is. Misty's cracking me up. Or Misty says I'm cracking her up. You're welcome. All right. As long as it's apple cider vinegar with the mother, it doesn't matter what the brand is. Bragg's was the one I was thinking of. Okay. I don't know much about Canva. I used it to make my little like a little postcard sized ad thing for when I was an exhibitor and had information on it. Okay. Yeah. All right. So let's get to Serena's question. What are people doing for fall? So if you are doing a fall garden, you should be at least thinking about it now, if not planting it now. Yes, I know my tomatoes are not ripe yet. Yes, I know the summer garden's still growing. But now is the time to do that because you have to get them started. So, things that you can plant in the spring are usually things you can plant in the fall. Just understand that the timing for spring, so if you plant something in the spring and it takes X number of days to maturity, you want to add 2 weeks to that on the fall end because it's getting cooler, not getting warmer. So that's something to think about if you are doing a fall garden. That's the kind of things you should do. So things like peas, which I'm going to plant. I don't know if I have to buy any more seeds or if I have enough. I think I have some. Not the ones I wanted. Those ones got eaten. So peas, lettuce, the brassicas, so your broccolis and I don't know if you got cabbage, if it has enough time to head up. Try it. The brassicas, lettuces, you don't want to plant them too early because they can bolt really quickly, but depending on your weather, you can plant them now. But lettuces, radishes, beets, anything anything that you plant in spring, you can plant now. So depending on when your first frost date is, you want to count backwards for that. So for where I am, first frost date is October 15 to 30. So plan for October 15. And so October 15, September 15, and be 4 weeks approximately. We're 6 weeks would be beginning of September. So right about now, next week sometime is when to plant those things for our area. It's usually 6 weeks. It could be now. I should actually look at this. I have my seeds over there. All right. Verna says yes. If you cook the pineapple, it kills the enzyme. Got it. PJ says, "Oh, my fermented veggies all moved into the fridge. When I get back, I will freeze dry them." Oh, you freeze dry the fermented vegetables. So do you freeze dry them at like 95 so it's still raw? Like, does that preserve what fermenting is supposed to do? I didn't realize you were freeze drying them. I thought you were just eating them. Interesting. I have not gotten into fermentation. I don't know. I tried lacto fermentation with sunchokes, and they were so salty. Even after rinsing, they were so salty. Yeah, and I just was like, nope. Standard setting. I wonder if the standard setting is 120, I think, on the freeze dryer. 110, 120. I wonder if that's too hot to keep the I don't know why. Is it bacteria that's the good bacteria that makes a ferment like good for you? Is it a bacteria? Is the question. Whatever it is, I'm just wondering at what temperature that gets killed. if maybe putting it down to 95 would preserve some of that better. Yeah. Verna is a planting queen. Verna says, I planted the Tioga beets, French breakfast radish, pak choy, arugula, butter crunch lettuce, Aficionado kale, and Lota Risi lettuce. There you go. Okay, 100. So PJ says 120. I've been doing everything so far at 120. 140 kills it. Okay, that's good to know. If you do herbs, do it at 95. And then if you're doing something delicate, what was the something delicate I was just reading about? I was just looking up something. What was it? Delicate things is also 95. What was I talking about? I don't remember. Anyway. Verna says, and I have had sprouting in 6 days for some. The others are just now starting to sprout. Awesome. You can also make sprouts. I have videos on how to make just alfalfa sprouts or whatever kind of sprouts just in a mason jar or random container. That works too. If you're not going to have garden space, or even if you have garden, but it's, maybe going to be too cold to have some of these other things. Maybe you have an early winter or a shorter growing season, you can grow inside and do sprouts. So yeah. PJ said, I did raw cucumbers last, sprinkled with a little salt. They taste so good, like chips. Nice. Verna says, freeze drying them doesn't heat them, but dehydrating them does. It does heat them. That's how the freeze dryer works. The freeze dryer works by going down to a deep freeze, and then the heating pad above each section heats, and as it heats, the liquid comes out with a vacuum on. The liquid comes out and goes to the wall. So it is heating. Yeah, there's some stuff that some people have burned, and that's what I'm trying to think of that I was just reading about. I think I was on one of the Facebook groups researching something. I saw that. I don't remember what it was. It doesn't heat like on a dehydrator, but it doesn't mean it's not heating. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. But still, herbs and delicate things should be at a different temp. Steve says you do live flowers like at 85 to 90. There was something else. So I'm just looking on the Harvest Right app to see if I can jog my memory of what I was looking at. I don't remember. Let's see. I looked at cheese last. Maybe it was something in dairy. I don't know. Well, I don't know. But it worked. All right. PJ says it is heating, but not enough to cook. Just heats enough to draw out the moisture slowly. Yes. That is the point of it, but it does heat the food some. I mean, you can't say it's not heating the food, but it's heating it in a different way. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, having the paper towels underneath the cheese for sure was a good idea. It'd be interesting to see, and I'm not going to do it because obviously it pulls out a lot of the fats. It'd be interesting to do like a test of like what does the without a paper towel, what does the silicone look like? Like, is it like you could go like this and have a scrape of it, or what? I don't know. Anyway, so all right, Serena, what are you planting? You asked if everybody else was doing it. I want to know what you're doing. I? Why is you capitalized? You will have puddles of oil. That sounds like a curse, Berna. It pulled out quite a bit. It pulled out quite a bit. Like, I think you could start a fire with, well, you can start a fire with paper towels, but I think you could start a fire with the greasy paper towels. Yeah. It is a dire warning. Dun dun dun. It's just weird that it wasn't in the, oops, there goes my phone. It's weird that it wasn't in the app, because they do have interesting stuff like that. I don't know that I've actually seen the paper towel stuff anywhere else. Let me look up bacon, because that probably has it. Because at one point you weren't supposed to do bacon, and then now they're like, you can do more things. Here's how. Let me see if bacon's on here. Because if that doesn't have paper towels, then we got a problem, right? Bacon. Doesn't say anything about having anything under them on the tray. Yeah. Interesting. It says to cook it. And then if you don't, it says to mark it as raw. Yeah. But it says to cook it and then have the to pat it dry with a paper towel, but it doesn't say anything about freeze drying it with a paper towel. So so a lot of you guys know that my parents' dog loves huge sticks. And I'm just gonna share this because they sent it to me. And I think you guys would get a kick out of it. So her name is Remy, and it is on my phone, so I'm going to hold it up. But she is very ambitious with her choice of sticks. And I'm going to turn this off for a minute so you guys can see. Maybe. You can do it. That is her stick. She's finding the center of gravity. What are you going to do with it? You going to take it home? You're going to leave it here? Isn't that hilarious? That's a tough one. She's having such a ball. Ah. There's a good. She has to find the center of gravity. That's all she's looking for right now. Yeah, exactly. Steve says, I have some sticks to clean up. Can Remy come help me? She would love it, as long as they were actual trees, not sticks. She has the thickest neck. And then back up all the way home. No problem. Got the center of gravity. No problem. You can take it between the trees. Maneuvering. Isn't that great? Sorry, I'm drifting. So that's Remy. And she's hilarious, and there's more of it, but you guys saw the gist of it. Rita says, reminds me of Lucy when she was young. There we go. She does have very strong jaws. It makes you realize these dogs are predators. They can turn on, and do some damage if they really needed to. Yeah. Yep. Miss Remy. So anyway, I just thought that was amusing and I should share it. So last time we were on, I think I shared with you guys, I made the apple, like apple pie bite stuff, and freeze dried it. So it was apples plus the water, the lemon water that I cut them into, plus sugar and cinnamon, undisclosed amounts. And I freeze dried. I've shared it with a couple neighbors, and I've had some, and it's really, really good. And I think I'm going to make it again. I'll pick more apples and make it again. And this time add oats to it. And if I add oats, it'll be kind of like a granola bar, I think, like a kind of a Nature Valley-esque granola bar. So I think that'll be really good. Yeah. Exactly, Steve. She has a strong neck from her tree moving exercises. Yeah. So when they got her, she was severely overweight. She had come from a family that the couple had just divorced. And I have a feeling they probably kept the curtains shut because she is obsessed with what we call sparkles. The reflections. She chases reflections of anything. And yeah, it's she's pretty obsessive that way. So I'm guessing they probably had the curtains closed and she didn't get much exercise. But she was really poorly. And so her weight has gone down quite a bit since she's, been with my parents. And it's gone up a little bit too. But I honestly think a lot of it is just neck muscle. I mean, look what she's doing. Yeah. Apple crumble is what it sounds like. Kind of, yeah. Yeah. I would usually apple crumble is pretty dang sweet, so I didn't add too much, but I guess it just depends on how much you add, right? Yeah. So Serena didn't answer a question, so I don't know what she's growing. I think I'm gonna replant peas and maybe beets, maybe some radishes. I don't know that I'll do a whole lot going into fall. I do want to plant chard because I do enjoy chard, but I only have one chard right now, and I would really like to have more chard. Beet greens are also very good, especially if it's like Chioggia beet greens, the red ones, not the green ones. The red ones are less earthy; they have more flavor. Oh, Serena's not here. Okay, well, she'll have to come back and listen to her answer then. Yeah. So I do want to plant those types of things. I'm hoping that I get a good amount of tomatoes. There's some tomatoes on there now, but they just need to ripen. I know some neighbors have had some ripen, but a lot haven't. My neighbor just came over and gave me some green beans. Thank goodness. She's good. She has all the green beans canned that she needs for the year, so I'm getting some, which is awesome. But she said that her corn, the center of her corn, doesn't have corn, which is weird because usually that's the best part of it. Like if you have a block of corn, the center rows are the ones that are, the biggest corn and the most corn, the most success, because they are because they have the most success because they're so corn is wind pollinated, and you have the tassels and the pollen, and the tassels and the corn silk. And she said this year they didn't come on at the same time. Like some of them came on a lot later than the others. So like I don't remember which one she said, if it was the tassels first that came on and then the silk didn't happen, or what. I don't remember. Yeah, radish greens are also edible. I mean, so are carrot greens, but they're not great, right? The rabbits like them. Steve says we got a whole 3 cherry tomatoes. enough for one one for each child. They're afraid to bite into it because they thought the flower end was a wormhole. Just tell them it's freeze-dried candy. They'll eat it. So, wait, is that because it's too hot to have tomatoes? Or why did you only get 3 cherry tomatoes? Because cherry tomatoes are usually um, they're usually very prolific. So that's a surprise. Steve says carrot greens, not as tasty as raw greens. I mean, you can have raw carrot greens if you'd like. Carrot greens are better cooked than raw, but they're not great, in my opinion. Some people like them. Bunnies prefer them to the root. Yeah. Steve says South has been hit hard by this heat. There was one year, so 2020 was a great year for tomatoes. I canned a lot of tomato sauce and a lot of tomato products. And the next 2 years, that was when we got like 115 degrees, like 110, 115 degrees somewhat regularly in cycles. And I didn't get any tomatoes for 2 years. And because it got too hot, and then all the blossoms either dropped or became sterile because of the heat, and then it would cool down and then it would heat up. By cool down, it didn't get cool that much, but yeah. So I'm glad we didn't have that. But that's when I started researching for heat tolerant tomatoes and found that as far as the heirlooms, there's really not, as far as I researched, heirlooms that tolerate superheat. Cherokee purple, black creme, those were among the best ones, best heirlooms for heat. But I wasn't having success with those because I always plant those. But I had a bunch of heat tolerant, made for heat hybrids, F1 hybrids, and I planted them the next year. I was going to test them out, and of course, we had a cooler year, so all I had is a taste test, which I do have a video on, but I didn't have really a test warm year, which I'm fine with now. But yeah, yep. Steve says next year I'm planting tomatoes in the shade. You could use shade cloth too. But at some point, hot is hot, you know? PJ says, 2 ripe pumpkins I'm taking down with me. Nice. And PJ's not getting any pumpkins yet. I didn't see any butternut squash on my butternut squash plant. I've never grown butternut squash. Do you need 2 plants? Or is one fine? Because I had 2 and one died. I have a tomatillo that showed up. It's not going to have any tomatillos because it doesn't have a friend. But yeah. If you are not getting any pumpkins, but you're getting pumpkin flowers or squash flowers, either, if you have zucchini flowers or anything like that, you can use those. You can stuff them. So what I suggest is gather them late morning, because once a flower closes, once a squash flower closes back up, it's not going to reopen again. So like specifically the male flowers, they're a one and done. So they will pollinate and then they're done for the day and they're done for their life, and another flower will open tomorrow. And so that is something to look for. And then when you do harvest them, though, watch for bees. I've had so many bees in this wrapped up little flower. I pick it up and it buzzes, and they go in there to sleep, and they'll actually eat their way out. They'll chew a hole and to get out after they're done with their little nap. So funny. I had 2 bees in one time. Creative Redundancies here. Hello, Kat, stopping by. Hello, welcome, welcome. What are you doing for a fall garden? That is the topic. Berna says lots of flowers, don't want to stuff any at this time. You can freeze them. You can freeze them and make them into stuff. There's lots of Mexican dishes that call for Calabasa flowers, I think is what they call it for. Calabasa is a zucchini. And they make all sorts of stuff with it. Steve says a butternut squash plant bears both male and female flowers and can pollinate itself. Okay, so maybe it just needs to grow more. Thank you. Verna says, my sweet potatoes are rooting every place they touch the ground. Mine are growing, but they're not growing as fast as I feel they should. Like they're not big plants. They're like this. Usually at this stage, I planted them a while ago. They should be taking over the garden, but they're not. Yeah. Creative says the stream is ripe for the picking. There you go. So Steve's asking, if you steal the blossom, does that then stop the fruit? No. So what I'm saying is the male flowers on a squash plant is a stem and then the flower. So here's the flower and here's a stem. The male flowers only last one day. So you can they open in the morning and then they'll close midday. And when they close, they're not going to open up again. So, and they're actually more tasty once they have pollen. If you pick them while they're still closed and they have not opened yet, then the pollen isn't mature or something. I'm not sure how it works, but it's not as tasty as after they have pollen. I'm just saying, watch for bees when you open the flowers. But they're fine. If you're going to harvest a female flower, people harvest female flowers all the time for the female flower. The female flower has a stem, and then it has what looks like a little fruit, and then it has a flower. And so that is, glad you're eating right now. Is this conversation going to make you hungry, Creative? So that little fruit part between the stem and the flower, it's actually the back of the flower, but that's how it looks different on a stem. And then on the inside, and I have videos, maybe one of you guys can find, I think male and female flower or something. I think if you put in male or female, you'll find it. It's pretty short, but it's not a short, but it's a pretty short video comparing the male and female flowers of zucchinis. And the male flower on the inside is going to have pollen and it's going to have one thing. And then the female flower is going to have multiple things. So that's how you tell different, male from female. So there you go. And Berna says, I have 2 pumpkin plants and I think they are both males. My understanding, pumpkin plants always have male and female flowers, at least the ones I'm familiar with. But to my understanding, because I had this issue one year where I wasn't getting female flowers until later, and it was having to do with the heat. That's what I was told. I don't know if that's true or not, but it could be that, again, like we've been saying, this year's a wonky year. So it might not be a pumpkin plant this year. It might be a pumpkin blossom plant this year. And those are good. Those are good too. My favorite, I call it dessert leaves, but that's not the name of the video. And I really should redo it and call it dessert leaves. Garden dessert, I think is what I put it, like easy or something garden dessert. Thank you for the link, Steve. If you want to learn about zucchini flowers, and the same goes for all squashes, male versus female, there's a video there you can watch. Thank you, Steve. But yeah, you can eat them. My favorite one was, I think it's something easy dessert flowers or something like that, or easy garden delight. I don't know. In any case, it is butter, and you cook sage leaves, so culinary sage leaves in it, and then once those are nice and crispy, you set them to the side, or maybe you eat all of them and do it again. Don't do this every day, guys. You're going to gain weight. They're so tasty, though. That's what I call dessert leaves. But what it does is it makes this nice flavored butter, and you take the blossom and you stuff it with cream cheese, a part of a date, and some of the cooked or raw sage, and then you twist the flour closed, tuck it, and put it down and cook it in the flavored butter. And then you flip it over, and they are the most delicious thing ever. and not healthy for you because of the butter. Other than that, very healthy for you. Yes, quick garden dessert. Thank you, Steve. If you have blossoms but no fruit happening, or only male blossoms and no female blossoms happening, click on that link that Steve did and make that, because oh my goodness, deliciousness. So it might actually be worth it to grow something just for the flower, because there's delicious. And again, if you're going to use the male flower, you're going to harvest it after it was open and then closed again, and that'll be more delicious, but you have to watch for bees. And then if you're using the female flower, then you can cut it behind what looks like a fruit, and you'll have like, it'll taste like a little zucchini too, or a little whatever. That base will go with it, and it's so good. Everyone here is on a diet, Verna. Nobody's on a diet, no. Homegrown, except for the butter. Yeah. Creative says, I don't know, Verna. LOL. All right. Creative Redundancy says, Kat, you already know because they told you. What'd they tell you? What'd she tell me? I don't remember. It was a while ago. Anyway, Steve says, not me. I'm trying to gain weight before I enter my wasting years. You're skinny. You're skinny. Oh, so not here. Here as in your house, Verna. Daughter and grandkids are. What kind of a diet? Hopefully one that's not too restrictive. Hopefully one that's like, hey, we grew this on the land kind of diet. I don't know you're set up quite for that yet. But you will eventually, you know. I'm hoping that with this sausage making stuff and the what's it called? Charcuterie meat stuff, cured meats. I'm really interested in this stuff because I love pepperoni and salami, that kind of stuff. But I have to like pay attention to what is actually in it, because I know you shouldn't have it all the time. Seafood diet for Steve. There you go. So one of the things I need to read up on in this book, probably, and other places, is again, I haven't read this book yet. It just looks good. Is they add some stuff to. Do they add any of that to any of these? I should just look at the recipe. Okay, it looks like they don't add. What do they add when it's commercial? Like a nitrate or something like that? I don't see any of that kind of stuff. Juniper berries. I should make that. My parents have juniper berries. What is this? I don't even know how to say this one. Bressaola della Valtellina. Protected geographical indication cured meat obtained exclusively from select cuts of beef. Okay. Anyway, it has juniper berries in it. Okay, well, this doesn't have, oh, wait. Sodium nitrate. This one has sodium nitrate. I need to learn more about sodium nitrate because I don't know much about it. I just know that people are afraid of it. And this one says sodium nitrate optional. Yeah, I'm just not, it's not in all of them, so that's good. Yeah, anyway. Oh, another one of the juniper berries. Anyway, I'm going to try stuff here. Google Translation. I don't think it's about translating. I think it's about all that. Yeah. Anyway. They should be on a seafood diet. And creatively says, I see food now. Oh, they were on a fast food diet. That's one thing. That's one thing. Steve says, I'm going to have a salt problem after all that curing. You know what? I do not use a whole lot of salt. And so maybe it will, if I'm deficient or something, maybe it'll be better. I don't know. I don't like salty things. Yeah. So PJ says Katrina doesn't like salt. I don't like salty things. I know when I'm craving it that I'm deficient in it. And but I do like pepperoni and salami, and I don't taste it as salty. I know it's more salty than what other things I might eat, but I don't taste it as salty. And I don't know if that's different. Sulfates and nitrates, Berna says. And I'm not going to be able to tell what this is. So like this has sea salt, and it's 25 grams per 800 grams lean pork meat and 200 grams pork fat. Anyway, fine sea salt. I'll probably just use Himalayan salt because that's what I mostly have, unless there's a reason to not do that. But yeah. Oh, this is what you're saying, sulfates and nitrates. Rena says an inorganic chemical compound with the formula NaNO3 that functions as a strong oxidizing agent, food preservative, and an agricultural fertilizer. And Steve says chemical compound that acts as strong oxidant and water-soluble salt. Yeah, so I'm going to have to read up on that and see if there's a substitute or if there's a reason why to use that over something else. Just because. And then just to kind of keep on track of wanting to do homesteading things instead of store-bought things, I'm already raising rabbits. That's mostly what I'm planning on turning into things. I have some beef fat. My neighbor has some beef fat that they're willing to probably trade me. And so I'll be able to use that. And, I can find someone to access, maybe lard from, not lard, pig fat from. Pig fat is probably going to be the best as far as making like a sausage or something. But beef fat would be fine too. Lingers in kitchen. Are you getting hungry or creative? Yeah. Anyway, so I don't know where I would hang things. That's the only thing. There's like I watched something last night that they have like a specific thing that that controls humidity. I don't know if I need it. I don't know if I don't know any of these things yet. So I need to research that kind of thing. But what I'm going to start with is I'm going to start with breakfast sausage, and then probably the apple and cheese sausage. I also want to do cheddar and jalapeno would be nice. So do some different ones. Yeah. Verna says natural plant powders like celery or beetroot instead of chemical nitrates when curing and cooking meats. So they do the same thing, celery or beetroot powders. Yeah, the thing is, I don't know exactly like what they do, like how you would substitute. Yeah. So Steve says they mix beef fat with deer to make sausage. I thought it was pig fat. Is it beef fat? That's interesting. Because I don't really care for deer. It's okay. It's not great. I like elk. It might have to do with most of the deer I've come into contact with have eaten a lot of sagebrush. You are what you eat. But I know I do like the deer sticks that they make that have jalapeno and sausage. I mean, I think it's mostly that I like jalapeno and sausage. But come on, who doesn't? Yeah, I didn't know it was beef fat. I thought it was pork fat, pig fat. Yeah. Anyway, so that'll be good to do at some point, hopefully in the nearish future. Okay, Verna's been Googling. Natural nitrate alternatives. Celery powder. This option contains natural nitrates that work like synthetic curing agents. Beetroot powder. This powder provides a clean label pigment and nitrate source for sausages. Swiss chard powder. So that I do want to grow a lot of that. Spray dried powder. What is that? Adds natural nitrates for preservation. Sea salt and regular salt. Pure salt handles basic preservation and moisture removal without any added nitrogen compounds. Antioxidants like rosemary and vitamin C. These extracts help to protect color and fight oxidation without using nitrates. Okay. Pork is cheaper. Yeah. Probably depends on who's making the sausage and what they want to pay for it. That makes sense. Yeah, I'm gonna have to explore that. I do have some beef fat. It's not like too terribly much in my freezer from a long time ago, so hopefully it's still good. And from kind of what I've gathered, I need to read through some of these books before I start. But from what I've gathered, most sausage recipes are either an 80-20 meat to fat ratio or an 80 or a 70-30. And I'm thinking because rabbit is so lean, I would probably go on the higher side or maybe 25%, and see how that works because it is a lean meat. Yeah. I don't know. I was going to cut stuff off the bone this weekend and it didn't happen. And so it might happen later this week or next weekend, not Saturday, maybe Sunday. Yeah. So I plan on experimenting. Yep. So anyway, that's going to be my localized obsession for a little bit. I don't know, research obsession maybe for a little bit. You can use rabbit fat for some of the fat. Rabbit fat's not very much, and I am still collecting rabbit fat to do an experiment on to see whether it tastes different to do the inside fat versus body fat, and the inside fat being the visceral fat. And that would be, if it was a pig, it would be called leaf lard, and it has less flavor of the pig. So people use pastries for that. And I want to know if that's something that is true with all animals, or maybe just rabbit too, or not. With the texture and the density of that fat is different. So I do want to do that experiment. I just want to gather a lot of it, probably like that much, to do something with it. Yeah. Creative says, if you ever meet me, I carry a fork or folk. You carry a folk. Just in case I see food, probably fork. He may be a giant and carry a folk. Teasing. Steve says, I'm not as refined. I have my hands. There you go. There's forks right there. Oh my goodness. So yeah, that's my plan. Like I said, I haven't gone through those other two books. I think I will try and return that other one. It was like $16 plus shipping. So it was not like a cheap book, but it's definitely cheaply made. Meaning, like, I don't think I'm even supposed to show you guys, but it just is. When you have a sausage making book, breakfast sausage should be in it, number one. And if you have breakfast sausage, if you have any type of sausage as an ingredient, and there are recipes for making sausage in the same book, you should have a recipe on how to make that sausage. Personal opinion. Anyway, so that's that. And Joseph is here. Welcome, Joseph. Welcome, welcome. We are talking fall gardens and also sausage making. I'm going to turn some rabbits into sausage. So, what do you have growing on? Creative says, see, when I'm hungry, I can't type well. Oh my goodness. Maybe you just need a fork in the other hand, you know? Anyway. Yeah. So last night I put up night being the key factor there. I put up trellises for the tomatoes. Should have put them up initially when I planted. I didn't. Things have been crazy this year. But got them up. I think I only broke one branch and I did put it in a bucket of water. If you guys didn't know, deer sighting. Deer sighting. Okay. If you didn't know, and even if you did, Steve says deer. Okay. I don't remember what I was going to say because I saw deer. A couple? Was there two of them? Should I move my giant bun? So there's at least 3 that come by. There's, I think, 2 females and one baby buck. They've been going up by the rabbit enclosure. That's the little boy. You guys see him? Yeah, that's the little boy. He's been going up in that area. I don't know why he's been going up in that area. Usually they don't go that close. But I've seen him a few times. I scared him the other night. I didn't know that that's where he was. And he was very scared. So anyway, if you guys remember what I was talking about, let me know. Misty says people with sensitivity to nitrates can get headaches related to the vasodilatory effect of the nitrates and cannot eat Chinese food because the nitrates in the food. Interesting. I knew there was health effects, but I didn't know what they were. Oh, last night. Thank you, Steve, for keeping me on track. Yeah, so last night I put up the tomato arch trellises. Now, I have previous videos about making an arch trellis, and if that's all you're interested in, watch that one. This one is a little bit more complicated because I had to fit through a garden gate this big, and the arch is this big. So, if anything, you can watch it for the comedy of me struggling with this thing. Anyway, got them up. I did. Oh, in case you guys didn't know, if you can grow tomatoes from tomato plants. Let me say that a different way. You can grow other tomato plants from an existing tomato plant. So all you have to do is either cut off or pinch off, probably cut off, one of the little armpits. So you'll have the main stalk, a leaf, and then something coming out here. That something coming out there is going to be the most likely to sprout. And all along the stem, you know how there are all these little hairs all along the stem? Any of those hairs can become a root. So that's why I plant them this way instead of this way. I plant them this way and then the little bit at the top, and then this will grow up. And then if you put the cutting in water or in soil that is moist, but if you put it in water, it will sprout and you can have a new tomato plant. So, yeah. All right. Joseph says, hey, I got to go. Wife and I are watching The Long Walk. Well, thanks for stopping in and have fun. Creative says, I've cloned them before too. Yeah, it's really easy. And you can, like, let's just say that like a bunch of your tomatoes failed to come up. At some point, you can take cuttings from the ones that you already have and make as many as you want, basically. Yeah. Warning. Yes. Steve says, if it's a determinate and you steal the stem, what will you get? Well, you'll get a determinate. If you are doing this with a determinate, you don't want to do the top, because if you pick the top, it will end. So there's two general types of tomatoes, indeterminate and determinate. Determinate means that the plant has a predetermined height or length that it will grow. And an indeterminate will grow as long as sun, water, and temperature will let it. And they can get huge. So I don't see any need to grow a determinate variety unless you need it to be like a patio variety. Because I have trellises that go up, and cattle panels make good trellises. But yeah, you'll get the same thing as what you picked it from. Just don't do it from the top. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, like Verna's saying, as long as they're indeterminate. And I always forget about that because I pretty much only try to grow indeterminate. I don't know what early girl is, and I don't know what beefsteak is, but I have both of those just because they were plants that people were selling. In addition to the ones that I like. But yeah. I think I have Cherokee Purple, Black Crim, something Prince or Prince something purple. Is there a purple Prince? It's some sort of Prince or Prince something. If you're curious, it's in one of my videos when I show you guys the tomatoes, which variety's which. Yep. Creative says, ultimately, winter will be the determinant in time for me. There you go. Where it says, that is what I'm getting this spring already. Shared. Okay. I already shared my garden vision with my daughter. Nice. Early girl tomatoes are indeterminate. I thought they were. I think beefsteaks are too. There's lots of different kind of beefsteaks, but I think this one just said beefsteak, so I don't know. Who knows what it actually is? I think that was one that was grown by the kids at the school or something. Okay, beefsteak tomatoes are almost always indeterminate plants. Thank you, Steve. Yeah. Well, these deer back there, they're definitely apple fed. They come multiple times a day to eat the dropped apples. Looks like Ringo's laying in the driveway. Sorry. Anyway, they definitely are apple fed, which is pretty funny. So yeah. I don't know if you guys saw it, but if you're interested in following Mama Kitty's I don't know, progression? What do we call it? She really, really, really wants attention. And at the beginning and at the end of this week's video, I showed two different times when she comes up for pets, and she absolutely loves her pets. And it's so funny because if she were to just come up to me or let me like put my hand down to her, she could get pets anytime, but she's just not confident yet. She will make Ringo go up to the food bowl so she can get pets with him there. It's pretty funny. Creative says, I have one funny tomato growing, but it's doing well. What about it is funny? I want to hear what a funny tomato is doing. Thank you, Verna. We'll still be here. Steve says, determinate bush tomatoes such as Celebrity, Bella Rosa, Patio, Roma, Amish Paste, and San Marzano. I did not know that Celebrity was, or, well, I didn't care or know Rama or Amish Paste or San Marzano. Marzano. The last three are paste tomatoes. And I have grown Roma. I was not really all that impressed with the flavor. I know they're good for making paste and making sauces, but I like the flavor of the heirlooms better. So it is a lot more boiling off, but it's still good. Yeah, celebrity I thought was indeterminate. I've grown celebrity a few times, and it didn't. I don't know that it got huge, but it definitely wasn't tiny. Interesting. Interesting. Um, the thing that's doing really well in the garden is the weeds, and that's okay. Some of them are edible. Probably all of them are edible, but some of them I'm eating, and others are feeding the pollinators, and some of them are edible, and I'm not going to be eating. And it's also providing a living mulch around the plants. I probably do have to weed a little bit around the peppers. I probably should. Maybe a little bit around the sweet potatoes, but it does create a living mulch, which does prevent heat from getting to the ground and all that. So that's good. But the other thing it's doing, excuse me, that's doing really good is the basil. And basil is awesome, just in general. Um, and I am thinking about throwing some in the freeze dryer tonight because freeze drying herbs takes like no time at all. You set it to 95 degrees and it goes really quickly. I'm thinking again about the sausage having some basil in with some other flavors. I did not grow as much basil this year as I wanted to. Um, Next year, I plan on really busting out the basil. What I would like is by next year, I want to have fencing up for the garden that's bigger and some fencing up or at least started for the food forest. And I want to have um, at least one green stalk full of basil. That's what I want to do is have the regular basil and Thai basil and maybe Tulsi basil. So like there's all these different kind of basils. And I really want to do a lot of basil for using, but then also freeze drying. I would like to freeze dry. If you ever if you ever buy basil in the store that's like in a container and dried, if you don't know any better, it's good, but it's terrible. If you freeze dry basil and you do it at 95 degrees, it's absolutely fresh tasting. And if I can make that into either a powder or just short of a powder, maybe I crumble it and have that in the cupboard as a herb, then that will be great. And then also for making different things, I think it would be really great to have in that form. So that is something I really want to do probably next year. I was going to do some more this year, and I'm just like, I think I'm probably just going to make pesto out of what I harvested the other day, because it's a smaller amount. But I do want to freeze dry a bunch of basil at some point. It's probably going to be next year, um, to do some of these other things because basil without a freeze dryer, basil is pretty hard to preserve in any other way. So dehydrating really just takes the properties out of it and the flavor out of it. Freezing is an option, but you have to freeze it in something. So in water, okay. In oil, that's usually what people do in the form of a pesto. Is frozen in oil. Actually, I have a couple of cubes left of that. I should probably use that up too. But that's interesting. Um, it opens up some interesting opportunities to use uh, basil with stuff, or as a garnish or as a flavoring ingredient. And you can just sprinkle it on top. I mean, if you put basil in your spaghetti sauce, well, maybe you sprinkle it on top, and it won't, the flavor won't go away. So anyway, um, Steve says my weed garden is more prolific than yours. Are you sure? Did you watch today's video? Are you sure? Creative says hard to describe, but still mostly round. But first time I have noticed this. Top of the hour for CR. What? First time you have noticed? Oh, okay. Got it. The tomato is mostly round. Okay. Well, tomatoes are mostly round. Sometimes, if it's a fasciated blossom, and that is a blossom that is like more than one blossom and they're fused together, sometimes you'll get like a tomato with like a nose or a spike or something or a second tomato. Um, so, is it doing that kind of thing? And it's fine. It's fine to eat. Fasciated blossoms. There are people who are like, "Oh my gosh, it's gonna give a really bad tomato. I don't want it," and they pick the blossom off. So I'm like, "It's food. Put it in the blender and make sauce. It's food, right?" Um, yeah. Red pine cone. That's what it looks like. It just has a little bloop. Some of them are funky. There is one. There's probably more than one. Wait, am I thinking of a pepper? Am I thinking of a pepper or a tomato? I think it's called the devil's claw or devil's something, and it has like a tip. I think it's a pepper. It has like a curved tip. I think it's a pepper. Never mind. Anyway, yeah. So, Steve, have you had progress at your new place? That's the question. I want to see how it's going. I haven't heard anything about it. Um, it's been hotter than I want it to be here. And I really, really hope we get rain soon. I know it's still a little early for us, but it is just so dry and things are drying up, and our creek has very little water in it. So I'm just really hoping my well is okay. And it is so far, but I cross your fingers. Um, and I'm really, really considering, I was always considering, but I'm thinking I probably need to move it up on the list to get water tanks. Yeah. Creative is low on rainwater again. Where are you? Is there's some reason I think you're in Canada. Where are you? I'm in Oregon. Yeah, I want to do rainwater, and I want to be able to fill it also from the well, like in the winter, in case it's a slow winter, and then it would just drip fill from there. But I need to call the water master because I don't know what the rainwater rules are in Oregon. So yeah. Um, Vern is back. Hello, hello. Oh, yeah, I get it. I get that. Steve says, I've been so busy appeasing other people with summer activities, waiting on it to cool down to get to work. I can't work in 100 plus degrees. That's honest. Well, I hope you're able to work on it soon and that everything goes well. Yeah. Not quite enough, says creative. Yeah, the rainwater collection has different rules in different places, and I just really hope that in Oregon we're okay to do like I'm hoping that the rules are reasonable because I would like to collect off of the house above. I would like to collect from anywhere that I can, honestly. That's the honest truth. Um, yeah. Misty says rainwater is up for grabs until it hits the ground. Okay. That's right. You had 2 tanks put in, huh? I still am probably going to call her just to see, like, I don't know if there's programs Are you aware of any programs, Misty, for rainwater collection? Yeah, and that's something else that I was thinking is that I really should have, instead of put the downspout from the house down basically to the ditch, I should have like put a cistern in or something. Um, that can be changed later if I need it to. I can do that, but I don't know like where a cistern would go. It wouldn't be gravity fed anywhere. Anyway, it's a thought. It's a thought. So Verna, that's exactly what Misty said. So hopefully AI is the same as what Misty said. The USDA has programs for everything. That is true. Whether or not they're funding programs is another thing. That is what I found with the current administration. They are not funding USDA as they have in the past. I have solar and I can use a pump. That is true. That is true. I have to think of, it's something I have to think about how that would work. Not necessarily how it would work, but I don't know. Things that I would need to do. Yeah, I do have solar and I can use a pump. So solar in I think November and December will be insufficient. Excuse me. My neighbor down the road, this last year, that's when it wasn't working. My neighbor down the road said, I think November and December are the years that she has to get electricity from the power company with her system. And every time, other than that, she makes enough from the sun. And I think I probably will be in the same boat just because of the cloud coverage and all that. But my hope is that it'll be mostly be able to work, So yeah, maintenance of the system too. Yeah. Yeah, there's lots of things to consider. I would like a couple tanks up above the food forest because I know that's going to need water in the summer. At least the first few years, it'll need less water as time goes by. But depending on what I put in there, it can start to go on its own. But if you're going to have productive fruit and food, it probably needs to be watered in most summers. But after the first few years, that the amount of water would go down that it needs. But I would want to start with probably a couple big tanks up there, and then where I'm going to call it like a greenhouse type thing where I'm going to have the quail. That's below kind of the other house on the property, and so I'm thinking that maybe I could make a deck off the side of that, which would be kind of cool, and have tanks underneath that, which will take the water from that roof, and then that could gravity feed. I'm thinking of using gravity feed as much as possible, basically. So anyway, I have some thoughts out there, and I need to source out some local people. So Misty, if you know local people that know all that stuff, I'd be interested in knowing them. Because there's, you come onto the property and you find out that there's a whole bunch of stuff that you would like to learn about, and other people are experts in, and you just don't know anybody. You just don't know anybody who's an expert, who knows that stuff. And I know there's got to be local people. But yeah. Missy says, if I did it again, I would bury the tanks. Is that because they get hot, or why? What's the why behind that? Steve says, you'd be surprised how much water from rain you can get from a small structure. Exactly. There, you can get a lot. And I know it's important to have a first flush system. I don't know what all's involved in that. I just know it's important. I do know a person I can ask. The person who did my gutters, I would have do the gutters up there. And if he didn't know, I would ask him to either learn it or to recommend someone. that knows that, because that is going to be up in the air. Like I'm not going to be on a ladder that tall. Yeah. Okay, Quinn. I've heard of Quinn. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly, Verna. So even using the rabbit shelter, you can gather a lot of rain. So this is / was the plan. I intend to enclose the rabbit area, which also will be the chicken run once it's enclosed and doesn't let foxes in. And what I've learned from talking to, I know her name, but what is the position? From talking to, what are the tax people? Anyway, from talking to them, I can have a roof that is of a certain size if it's made of a certain type of material. It's so stupid. Or I can have a roof half that size if it's made of a durable material. So it's really stupid. It doesn't matter what the roof is really on a run that's already there. So what I'm going to have to end up doing is I'm probably going to make a big roof to go over the current 5 bunnies. And then there's going to be another place where I have 2 more spots for grow outs next year. Not grow outs, for the new breeders next year. And I might have to do 3 over there, because at one point I'm going to have 2 does and a new buck. But I might just have a temporary thing going on with a new buck at that point. I'm thinking in the future. So I'll probably have 1 over there and 1 over here. And maybe as long as they don't match up and they're not the same roof, they'll be fine. And then just do the rest in wire, because it just doesn't make sense why they're wanting to do this. Like I'm trying to make it so that I don't have to pay taxes on a roof over something that's already there. And there's a certain number of square feet that you can do that with, and you have to do it with certain materials to get this much, and certain materials to get this much. So anyway, yeah, collect from metal. Yeah, so it'll either be metal roof, which is preferable. And I have some of that already. The only thing about the stuff I have already, which came with the house, is it has holes in it from where the screws go in. And with those, you do have to go up every couple of years and make sure you make sure the washers are okay, because they go bad. And whereas the roof that I have on now, well, it has problems, but anyway, it covers the screws, so the screws don't ever have to, or shouldn't ever have to get checked, because it's not exposed to the elements. So anyway, so that's the only thing about that. But also, I don't know that it matters if it leaks, because if I have the rabbits covered and then it's in that bigger cover, like I wouldn't pry off the roofs of the things that are on there right now. I would just add something over it. Then I think it would be fine. Anyway, so that's the only thing, is that it has little holes in it, and for the metal. I do have more of the PVC roofing. It's not PVC, but I'm calling it PVC. The white stuff. But I also don't know that I would want it to be that flimsy. I don't know what stand seam is, Steve. What is stand seam? Let me see. Stand seam. Yes, I believe that is what it is. Pictures. Yeah, so it covers it like this. That's what I have. Yeah. And I think that's pretty standard for what they use now for housing roofing. Yeah, no exposed screws. Yep. Creative redundancy is just shrugging. That's fine. It is, well, let me show this. Hang on, we'll show you what it is. Share screen. So this is what it is. So it does not have exposed. Where's a good example? It doesn't have exposed screws. So like the screws are in this, but the next panel over like crimps over it. So see that right there? That has screws interior. And so this is one panel and this is another panel. And the screw is underneath, is on top of this one, but underneath this one. So anyway, that's, I didn't know the name of it. Yeah. Sue says, I would think the standard with screws over an animal shelter that already has roof should be fine. I think so too. The only thing is, the only reason why it wouldn't be is if it is going to run down along wood and rot the roof faster. You know what I mean? So like it's not a problem as far as mud or animals. It's more of a potential problem for the structure at a later date. So yeah, that's kind of the thought. The other thought I had is to just cantilever off of the hutches so that it's not an actual roof and it's an actual movable thing, which then gets into the realm of ridiculous, and I really shouldn't do that because that's petty. But anyway, so I expect to have that. I don't know. My expectations of timing is all over the place right now. But I have reserved time. I reserved paid time off from work next month to tile my shower. Should I have done it a long time ago? Yes. Did I? No. Oh, actually, next week. Better make sure I have everything. Yeah. Steve says you could put a covering like ice and water shield before the metal. What is ice? You're making me Google today. Ice and it came up with ice and it went to water shield. Heavy duty self-adhering waterproof membrane installed under roof coverings to protect vulnerable areas from leaks. Rubberized asphalt grips roofing nails tightly to prevent water leaking through fastener holes. So do you like stick it on the underside of the metal? Oh, it's the stuff they put on roofs before that. Okay. So the thing about that is I wasn't really planning on doing like a solid roof. I was going to do beams with the metal because I don't really need it to be a solid roof. Unless you think I need to make it a solid roof. Maybe I need to make it a solid roof. Creative redundancy says shrugs again. We talk all things homesteading related here, Creative, and some things not. But it's here, so therefore it is. Yeah, I'm not planning on doing a plywood roof. I could. There's no reason I couldn't. Maybe there is a reason with tax wise. I think it's so silly. It's like it's ag right now. Why can't it be ag later? Yeah. Misty says it's the membrane roof like I have on my store. Big money. Yeah. See that's the thing is that it's I don't think I need like a solid roof before the metal. I'm just going to use the metal as the roof. But caulk the current holes that are reused. Yeah, I mean, do that, and then at some point that's going to go bad, and you got to redo it. I mean, that's the only thing. But yeah, what I'll probably do is I'll probably talk with. I know some people who do some roofing. I'll talk with them about how best to go about it. Yeah. Yeah, so Misty, that's what we're talking about. So the metal that I have, the metal roofing that I have the stuff that came off the roof, which half of the back half of the roof was metal, the front half was asphalt, and underneath that was 2 layers of asphalt. Um, and so I have that, and then there was a pile of some of that here before, which I believe had holes. So I have probably enough to do the area that I want to do. It's just I have to pay attention to how big that area is because taxes. And then I have to pay attention to all I want to do is like not get wet when I go do the critters and keep a lot of the area dry because I want to put wood chips in it. And when I have more chickens, they're going to poo, and wet poo stinks. But it might be that I section it off or do something else. I don't know. I just think it's silly. Um, Yeah, in a state where you don't have to get a permit to have a roof put on your house, but you are charged taxes on putting roofs on other agricultural areas. Come on. Anyway, um, all right, creative redundancy. Have a good night. I know we stopped talking about food. You're going away. Uh-oh. Verna, be safe. Have a good night, creative, and hope to see you again next week. Oh, next week. Is next week? Let me see what's happening next week. Oh, next week we will be on Monday. I just remembered that next week is when September starts, but we'll be here on Monday. Cool. That's last day of the month. So, anyway, we talked a lot of things today, but yeah, future plans, limitations. Still haven't gotten my signs for the no spray from the county. Don't know when that's going to happen, considering that the year is, most of the way through. Yeah. Steve says you may find that most of the holes would line up where they match your furring strips or 2x4s. Yeah, and they might, and that's fine. I would aim for that, right? If I have enough material, I would aim for that. Yeah, I mostly want to have the area covered. The area in between the chicken coop and where the rabbits are, I'm not as concerned about because there's a big incense cedar tree and it does cover a lot. And there's not a lot of, even when it rains hard, it's not raining hard underneath the tree. But where the rabbits are, it does rain hard. And I want to give them also a bigger overhang. The guy I paid to make these things were so stupid. And part of them have roofs that the supporting wood pokes out from. Like, it's so stupid. And so I'm just wanting to give them a little bit more cover for like when we had the big storms couple winters ago. I have a tarp to put down like in front of them, but it's hard to get into. And I'd rather have that tarp further away from them so that I don't have to like go like this every time and open up and go like this and back out and all of that. I'd rather have that, further out, and maybe I can leave it down all winter as a windbreak instead of right at the cage, the hutch, doors. For ravioli and rigatoni, that hutch there, that's really where the concern is. For Percy, I have that wrapped in a way that it's like that year round and he's fine. And for penne and risotto, theirs is just on that backside and they're fine. There's not really any wind that comes from other directions, or it's already blocked. So it's really just that front end. If it gets super bad, then I want to be able to keep them safe. So yeah. Adam says, oh yeah, it's Monday. Working 6 days a week sucks. I'm here for the end of the live. Well, welcome, Adam. If there's anything you want to talk about, go into it. We've talked about roofing for the rabbit area. And I need to make some changes to the hutches as well. One of them, I need to do that. Adam, if you wanna come up one day and help me do the the rabbit hutch legs, that would be great. I don't know. I'll trade you something. No, so I need to do that. But I was talking about adding a roof to the rabbit area once the fencing is done up there. I'm going to redo the fencing so that foxes can't get in, any predators can't get in. And then when I get more chickens, they can run all over the place in there. But then we've also talked about making sausages and cured meats, and we're also talking about fall garden stuff. So, or any other thing you want to talk about. But those are kind of the main topics we've been talking about today. Yeah, and I freeze dried cheese, and Verna's tip of putting paper towel underneath was a very good idea. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, I did have to do a lot to make the hutches safe, Verna. So what was the noise that you were going for? We're waiting for you to get back to see what the noise was. Hopefully something not bad. Yeah, so I want to extend out a roof so that I don't have to deal with getting behind a tarp. It's very frustrating. Yeah. Adam says, "Oh, sure, turn it into 7 days." But seriously, hit me up if you need help. I need strong people. That's what I need. That's the thing. You went up and saw the rabbits when you were here, right? I think. Yeah, it's that upper one. I need to take the legs off and put new legs on because it's put together stupidly. Anyway, let me know because I need to do it at some point. Steve says Verna's noise was the flick. Maybe not, Steve. That was her 10-minute break, she says. Must have been something upstairs. That is all that matters, was finding where the noise came from. Yeah, exactly. Have you lost Lucy to your daughter? The lady who pets her a lot? Yeah. No, so Adam, I was halfway joking, but honestly, if you want to come up and help out with that, I can come down and help you with something or trade you something if you're interested. It's funny. A lot of the people that I know here, not everyone, but a lot of people I know here are older or have issues. But yeah, or younger. But yeah, exactly. Yeah, you did see it. Some work does need to be done on that shelter. It's mostly once the legs are replaced, I can do the rest of it. Like it's just a little bit ridiculous, which you saw. Yeah. Lucy knows who to con. Lucy knows how to work room. She certainly does. So anyway, yeah. So that's what's going on here. I'm really hoping the tomatoes pull through this year and actually ripen up. Putting the arbors up, arbor trellis, whatever. Putting the trellises up last night, I think that's going to be really beneficial. And they just need to grow a little bit more so they can all reach to the trellis. Because what I did is there's trellis and then rows and then like the the footpath in between, which now looks like this with plants. So yeah. Anyway, it's interesting is what we can say. Anyway, so that's what's going on. I am looking forward to going through these 2 books. well, mostly this book and seeing what I want to do. I think for starters, I'm going to reread the sausage section in this book as to like technique and all that. And then I'm gonna jump in and make some breakfast sausage to start. And it'll be interesting to see with rabbit what the ratio ends up being, because like I said in kind of my research in just sausage in general, it's between 20% and 30% fat for the different recipes. And so I think I'm gonna start with like maybe 25%, maybe, because like if someone's using pork, there's fat in the pork that they're using, and not just the fat on the outside, but like there's stuff in the meat. Whereas rabbits, there's really not. It's very lean. So yeah. Have I tried pickling zucchini? I did pickle zucchini. I made zesty. I have the book right here. I think I made it out of this book. I didn't make it this year. I made it several years ago. I made, let's look at the zesty. I think it's called zesty something. And it turned out really good. So if it is in here, I want to recommend the recipe to you. Oh, it might have been zany zucchini pickles. I think that's my 322 or 233. Okay. 322 zany zucchini pickles. Zucchini, salt, water, vinegar, sugar, mustard seed, celery, turmeric, pickle crisp. Mine might have been the other one. Let's look at 322. I thought it was out of this book. It might not have been. Or, sorry, 233. Yeah, it was not that one. So it was either this book or it was the National Center for Home Food Preservation. I don't think it was any of the other books that I have. But yeah, it works. It works. What I prefer to do with zucchini is to make the fake pineapple, which the recipe is on the National Center for Home Food Preservation website. And it's really good. I prefer it. I'll bring a jar. There's some in the refrigerator. I prefer it grated instead of cubed. Let me show you guys. Okay, so I just opened this the other day. It is from a long time ago, 2021. And that's what it looks like. No, I did not peel it. When you make pickles, you don't have to peel it, so I just decided not to peel it. And I grated it. It turned out really good. It's really good on eggs. And like if you cook chard and other things in the morning and then you have egg on it, and you have this and salsa. So that's what it looks like. And 5 years later, it's still good. Yeah, I definitely like it better shredded. I think it has more application. I don't cook with it. I put it on things after it's been cooked. So like as a topping. So like I said, really good with eggs. If you top it with that and put some salsa on it, super good. Super good. Yeah, worth it. And yeah, I know there's some seeds in there, but it's okay. You are correct. There is, if you are a member, like Verna and PJ and Misty, the video for making the pineapple, the fake pineapple with zucchini, is in a video. We go through it together. And in that video, I cubed it. But if you do the same exact thing and shred it, it's a better, I mean, I think it's a better result. It's good either way, but I like it shredded. The only thing when you shred it, you need to make sure that there's more liquid on top than, like, you don't want to fill it all the way up with shreds and then in the juice and think it's full. You want to have a little bit more liquid on top than, make the same headspace to the liquid. But thank you for the link, Verna. But you want to make sure that you have more liquid on top, because as time goes by, it will soak up the liquid. And so, like these older jars, it soaked it up the liquid, and so there's no liquid on top of it anymore, which is completely fine because there is no oxygen in the jar. If there was oxygen in the jar and it was not liquid covered, then it would be really bad. I mean, probably really bad if there was, even if it was liquid covered. But that's just something, if you're going to do it this way, that's one change I would do. I made it several times. I've only made it once cubed, and I do like it better shredded. So, yeah. Yeah. Verna, pickled zucchini, I might have some of that in the refrigerator too. Give me a minute. What else do you want me to pull out of the refrigerator, Verna? So that's what I have left. And of course, I swapped out the lid, so I don't have the name on it. This is only a few years old. And I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it? I want to pour it on the keyboard. There you go. So that's what it looks like. And yes, that is a zucchini, not a cucumber. You guys hear it? It's not crunchy, but it's crunchy. Could you hear it? This has been in the refrigerator a while. Is this an empty the refrigerator live? No, I emptied the refrigerator last week, and it was interesting to only me. I don't need to share that. You guys don't need to see that. If I could put this lid on, that'd be great. This might be that recipe. Come on. That's what's happening. So these lids have a gasket, and the gasket came out. There we go. That's nice. So that's good. So yeah, this has mustard seed. I think it has celery seed. What else did I say that thing had in it? Is it 322? 322. Yeah, celery seeds, turmeric. That looks like it, so I'll leave that one. So I'm going to say it's on page 322 of that book. Is this? And the pineapple one is from the National Center for Home Food Preservation. Let's see if they have it in here too. Sometimes they have this pie fillings, pineapple and pineapple juice. Pickled pineapple. Pineapple chili salsa. That sounds good. Pineapple and syrup, pineapple jam, pineapple topping. Okay, well, maybe it's under zucchini. Nope. Nopers. Okay, so that one's on the Center for Home National Center for Home Food Preservation website. So yeah. Now to find your canning cookbook, you have that one too, right? Or the older version? I thought looking under pineapple because I think it's called like faux pineapple or no, I think it's called pineapple zucchini on the National Center for Home Food Preservation. I think that's what it's called, is pineapple zucchini or something like that. Yeah. Okay, I'm scrolling back up. All part of homesteading. It's hard to know when to stop the pickling so it's crunchy. What do you mean? Are you talking about fermenting? Because these are not fermented. This is water bath canned. And I don't remember how to do it. You can do pickles lots of different ways. And so I just followed the instructions. This uses pickle crisp, so that's one thing that it can stay crispy. And like you could hear it, right? Like it's not something that would snap, but it's also still crunchy, which is pretty good because I did this a few years ago. Bring to a boil. Boil gently 5 minutes. Remove from heat. Cover. Let stand for an hour. Return to saucepan, medium high. Bring zucchini mixture to a boil. 5 minutes till it's heated through, and then pack. So this doesn't have like the whole so you do have to salt it and let it stand for a couple hours, but it's not one of those ones that you have to salt and like have stand for like 24 hours or something like that. Because there are some recipes for that for cucumbers, but cucumbers have a lot more liquid. Yeah. Brenna says I have to have garlic in my pickles. There you go. There you go. Thank you for the link, Steve. Zucchini pineapple. Okay, it's called the zucchini pineapple. I knew it had both their names in it. It's a really good one though, and like if you have access to eggs, which Smiler hasn't laid in a couple days, and I'm getting eggs from the neighbor tomorrow. I really want that space to be done before I get chickens, and then I want the greenhouse / aviary space to be done before I get quail. But for the chickens, at least, I can once I have things secure, I can do the chickens. So yeah. Anyway, but if you have that and greens, and you can make either zucchini or chard or something like that for breakfast too, and then put crack eggs on top, or like make little nests and crack them into there, and just do like a fried egg, and then you can take that off, put it on your plate, and then put some of this on there, and then some salsa or some hot sauce on top. Super good, super duper good. So, okay. Do we have any more questions, comments, fun stuff that happens, things you're going to plant in the fall, something else you want to see if I have in the refrigerator? Nice, Adam. Nice. Eggs, 180 of them processed in the freeze dryer this weekend. Is it from your own flock? That is awesome. I still have some freeze dried egg powder. I should probably dig it out. I'll probably dig it out in the winter. Because my neighbor's birds are still laying, not as much as they were, but she's still selling eggs. So yeah, nice. Yeah, from his own birds. That is awesome. Um, yeah, I have chicken eggs and quail eggs. I don't remember what I have left, and I mixed them up. When when I was freeze drying, I had some trays of one and some trays of another. What? I'm not plugged in anymore. What are you talking about? But then I think I switched trays in the middle because they were liquid and I was new to stuff, and I mixed up what was what. So I don't know. But I also think I over blended mine because they didn't really come out the texture that everybody else's seems to. It's still fine, but it just didn't come out the same. So um I will be excited to see how you like your freeze dried eggs. Try them and all of that. I think I whipped too much air into them. But yeah, it's fantastic, especially if you have a glut, you have a lot of eggs, and in wintertime maybe you don't want to put light on your birds, then don't. You know, you can have eggs. I mean, there's certain things you can't make, like deviled eggs and stuff like that. And the freeze dryer, you don't want to put the egg yolk in by itself, um, because it doesn't do well with that. It doesn't. It's just not a good thing. Um, but doing like a mixture is good. So yeah, congratulations. You're having fun with that, aren't you? Yeah. I just did cheese and I'm going to do more. I think the next thing I'm going to do is more apples I'm going to make more apple pie filling stuff and add oats to it. I might have to get more oats to do the amount that I want to do. But my goal is to make kind of like, Nature Valley bars, but mostly fruit and with some oats. Makes it a little bit more healthy, right? Um, yeah, but the food processor with those little squares was a perfect size. So I recommend that. And I recommend using more lemon juice in the water than what I did because mine all turned brown. They still taste fabulous. So yeah. All right, guys. Well, we are approaching 8:30, and so I think it is time to go feed everybody now that it is actually dark. And there you go. Verna has a tip. Mix up your egg whites, then freeze dry them. That way you have your own meringue powder. That is a fabulous idea, and you probably could add. Would adding the sugar make it bubble up too much? Like if you made meringue, I don't know. Interesting. Worth a try for sure. And then with your egg yolks, I started this and I just forgot about it when I was in California. I was doing this with quail egg yolks, is salt cured egg yolks. And I got to a certain point and it tastes like cheese. It's making your own cheese out of egg yolks. It's really interesting. And I wasn't quite sure how then to save them. It seems like it's something that you do and then you um, would eat or share at a certain point. And I don't know how stable they would be in the refrigerator, how long. And I wonder how well they would freeze dry because I'm not sure what the result of that would be if it's salt cured. And like, would you just crumble it at that point, or would you rehydrate to some extent? It's something worth figuring out. But salt cured egg yolks is very much like cheese. Yeah. Adam says, this was my third batch. I blend not too long and found rehydrating with milk doesn't make them rubbery. Nice, because you're going to put milk in your scrambled eggs anyway, right? Nice. Good tip. Oh, okay. Brenna's saying for the meringue stuff, you add the sugar later. Yeah. Okay. And Steve has a tip. If you do the yolks alone, break them up, mix some salt or sugar, and they'll work. Okay. Nice. Just out of curiosity, I'm going to see what the app says for the what's it called? For eggs. The Harvest Right app. Let's see. Okay, is eggs under dairy or meat? Let's try meat first because that might be where it belongs. It is. Okay. Raw. Use a blender or immersion blender. Fully mix the yolks and whites. Incomplete mixing may cause egg whites to bubble. Blending the chalaziae, I don't know how to say that. It's a stringy egg white. Results in a smoother, more, well, quick tip if using store-bought liquid eggs, don't do that. Check the ingredient list for additives and preservatives. Oh my gosh. Okay. That can affect things. Yeah, place the tray in first, then put the eggs in. Unfrozen eggs can be placed directly into the freeze dryer, but keep in mind it could take an additional 8 to 10 hours for them to freeze. Do not overfill. After freeze drying, blend the eggs into a powder for easier measuring and use in recipes. Rehydration. No information on just egg whites or just egg yolks. I find that it's helpful, but it's not as helpful as it could be, you know? Then it has scrambled eggs, like eggs cooked. And it's only talking about, really only talking about scrambled eggs. So, interesting. They're improving it time and time again, right? All right. Verna's on her way to bed, probably. Have a good night, Verna. Thank you for coming. Steve says properly salt cured and dried egg yolks last for 1 to 3 months in an airtight container in the refrigerator, up to 6 months or longer if kept frozen. Good to know. Because it's definitely something I'm gonna try again, especially with the egg yolks from the quail eggs, because they are just so rich. And that's what I did before. And it tasted like cheese. It's making cheese without having, a cow or a goat. So it's pretty interesting. And you can do different flavors. I think I did just regular salt. I did do regular salt, not Himalayan salt, because it was a lot of salt. And then I did like I seasoned the salt with something. I don't even remember what I did. I have the beginning of a video of that, and I never finished it. And it might be on one of the drives that got corrupted. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to go feed everybody. And I hope you guys have a good night. And I will see you guys on Monday. Macy says, homework. Only 7 more weeks and I'll graduate. Woohoo! Congratulations. Pre-congratulations to Misty. Good job. Steve says, if it tastes like cheese, would you call it chicken cheese or quail cheese? We got to come up with a better name, like a bird name, like a something fancy sounding, you know? It'd have to be like you gotta find ova cheese. Because ova is egg. Ova cheese or I don't know. What would you call it? There's your homework. Find out what we should call this thing. Nacho cheese? It's not nacho cheese. It tastes like good cheese. No, nacho cheese would be my cheese. I don't know. What do you think? I think ova cheese is just as funny because a lot of people wouldn't get it. Making ova cheese. Ova cheese? I don't know. I can't believe it's not cheese. Ova cheese. I can't believe it's not cheese. I wonder if that's like a patented thing for, I can't believe it's not butter. I wonder if they say, I can't believe it's not blank. I wonder if they could patent that, Adam says everything I'm thinking is dirty. No homework for me. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. You can keep your homework at your house. um, Goodness. That's so funny. I like ova cheese. I don't know. I can't believe it's not cheese is pretty good. Um, I don't know. Let's think on that and reconvene next Monday for a discussion on ova cheese and alternate naming. Let's see who remembers that. Who cut the cheese? No, that doesn't sound fancy at all, Misty. Oh my gosh. All right, guys, I need to go feed animals. And I will see you guys next Monday. Have a good week. Have a good weekend. And I will see you guys Monday. Maybe I will have made sausage by then, or at least cut meat off of bone. Let's go with that as the minimum, and making the sausage as a maybe. I know Saturdays. So okay, I guess I should open this up before I go. Saturday. Let me make sure this is right. Saturday at Central Point Extension Office. There will be, I don't like our website. It's not readable there. Really? We don't have it front and center? Why is calendar events at the bottom? Okay. I suppose I should show you that. Let me go back and I'll show you guys this real quick. In case anyone's interested, this can be accessed throughout like the internet webs, the interwebs. If someone is interested, you don't actually have to go there. There is a bee school happening this Saturday. It's all day. But if you want to go in person, they're going to do watch party type thing at the Central Point Extension, not office, but where we have the bee meeting off of Hanley Road. And no, not that one. This one. Share screen. If you're interested in raising bees, so here's the website, Southern Oregon Beekeepers Association. You can just type in SOBA, S-O-B-A. It's SOBA Wild Apricot. And for some reason, our calendar of events is at the bottom of the page. Not my choice. And this is Summer Bee School. It is this Saturday, 8 to 4. And depending on if you're a member or not, it's $25 or $30 at this point. And this month's bee school, or this season's bee school, is featuring some pretty interesting names. You might know some of them, you might not. Apparently can't highlight it. But the speakers are over here. And it is focusing on treatment-free beekeeping. I'm not completely convinced that is going to be a mainstream thing. I think you have to convince every other beekeeper around you to do the same thing in order for it to be successful. And I think that's going to be a long road if that's what people are going to do. But there's a flyer. If you guys want to click on this thing, you can click on that thing and see or take a picture or whatever. But that is what it is looking at, is cultivating varroa resistant genetics in Oregon bees. Doesn't have to be Oregon bees, it's really any bees. So I think we're going to have some good discussions. I'm just not sure how it will. I think there's some really great ideas out there, and obviously I haven't been to this yet, but I think there's some really great ideas out there if everybody participates. But getting everybody to participate is a chore. So that's where I think effort needs to be focused for that to work. But anyway, if you would like to attend, it's $25 for members, $30 for non-members, and there should be some good information at least, or some thoughtful information and thought-provoking information. But yeah, there we go. The coyotes were out last night, Misty. I don't hear them right now, but man, they were out last night for sure. And I heard elk the other day too. They were down, you know which way I'm pointing, I think, away from you. And the great horned owls have been out. Yeah. Steve says, I can't believe it's not, is heavily trademarked. Can't have that either. Hen fruit? Hen berries. Hen berries. Oh. Anyway, thought I would do a micro promotion on that. If it was bee school like we had last year, I would do a major promotion on it because it was very, very helpful to new beekeepers. This I don't think is as helpful to new beekeepers as we could have an event. I think we could have had this and like a normal bee school this season, but I'm not in charge of organizing that. I think it'll be interesting. I think it'll be valuable information, and I think it'll be information that likely is a little bit ahead of its time as far as having everyone do the same thing. Anyway, all right, so I will talk to you guys later. Overseas. There you go. I'll talk to you guys later. I'll see you guys on Monday, if not before. Tomorrow's video, which I still need to edit, is putting up the tomato trellises. You are allowed to laugh. Be nice in the comments. Yeah, there you go. All right. I will talk to you later. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. See you later, guys.